We stopped at question 20, the previous clip. We said the part of the mammalian brain responsible for maintaining balance is the cerebrum, option C. 21. In a positive phototrophic response of a celopti, the region of the greatest curvature is brought about by the, we said question 21 is brought about by the concentration of auxin in the region of the curvature, option D. 22. The function of the ossicles, malleus, incus, and stapes. These are located in the mid ear. In the mammalian ear is for support, no. Transmission of vibration. 22 is option A. Transmission of vibration and amplification. So the functions of the ossicles, ear ossicles, right? Function of the ear ossicles is for transmission and amplification. 23. If an animal is very active and has a good muscle control, it is likely to have a well-developed cerebellum, option D. 24. Movement and position of the head in man are detected by 24. They are detected by semicircular canal, option D. 25. An old man is likely to be long-sighted. Remember, long-sighted, they can see something far, but they can't see something near. Because age affects the 25, age would affect the ciliary muscles, option C. 25 is option C. 26. In a mammal, stimulus is transferred from the receptor muscle to the central nervous system through the 26 through the sensory neuron, option D. 27. Gymnastic movement is a non-directional movement. 27 is option B. We've touched that. 28. An instrument that can be used to demonstrate phototrophism. Don't forget, this trophism is when the entire part of the organism moves towards a certain area. So, demonstrate phototrophism and geotrophism in plant is we touched this one already, and I asked you to mark it. Is clinostat, option C. The growth of the celopti towards unilateral light source is due to 29. Is also due to unequal distribution of auxin, option B. 30. The sequence of the ear ossicle from the fenestra ovalis is supposed to have the malleus, incus, and stapes, but rather you get the incus, you get the stapes, malleus, and incus. 30 is option C. Stapes, malleus, and incus. From outside of the ear to the inside is malleus, incus, and stapes. From inside to the outside is stapes, incus, and malleus. So this question, they're asking the opposite. Most people, they will pick option A. The correct answer is option C. Pay attention. They said from the fenestra ovalis, from inside the ear outside, not outside the ear inside. 31. The center of controlling body temperature in the brain is, do not forget, hypothalamus. 31 is option D. Taxism differs from trophism because for taxism, all part of the organism will move. For trophism, only some part will move. So 32 is option A. The whole organism is affected. 33. The main function of the choroid is to supply nutrient, option C. The main function of the choroid is to supply nutrient. Let's take down note. The three layers of the eye. First, you have the sclera. The sclera is spelled SCLERA. The sclera is the outermost part. Next, you have the choroid. The choroid is spelled CHOROID. Is the middle part. Then the innermost part is the retina. Okay, is retina. Also, right, the retina is photosensitive. It is photosensitive. It is photosensitive. It is photosynthesis. And also, the choroid layer is black and highly vascularized. Open bracket, rich with the supply of capillaries for nourishment. Rich with the supplies of capillaries for nourishment. That's the most important thing I would want you to note there. Number 34. What part of the central nervous system is concerned with answering an exam question? Cerebrum. Option A. 34 is option A, cerebrum. Don't forget, the center of learning is cerebrum, while for movement and the rest activities is cerebellum. 35. The region that controls most of unconscious processes of a mammalian body is the medulla. Let me see. 35 is actually the medulla, but here's what they say. They say the They didn't ask you for the part, so we'll go with the spinal cord. The spinal cord. Because they say the region that controls most of the unconscious processes of the mammalian body, the spinal cord, because it will also relates the unconscious part to the conscious part, meaning the medulla to the other part of the brain, which has to do with the cerebrum and the cerebellum. So spinal cord. 36. All the body cells of the spinal cord are found in 36. They are found in this place 3, which is option C. 37. In a reflex action, impulse will flow from 1 to 2. From 1 to 2. That's how the impulse would flow. 38. The part of the ear that is concerned with balance is the option A, semicircular canal. I don't think we need to repeat that again. The questions now are repeated. The movement of the whole organism, taxism, option B. 40. Neurons receive stimuli from the body or internal organs are called, 40 is option A, sensory neurons. While motor neurons, they take it to the effector. Like motor neurons, and then go they in charge of making the thing happen. While when you pinch somebody, sensory neurons will collect and send to the brain. When the brain won't decide on what to do, if it's to run away or if it's to pinch the person back, that one has to do with motor neurons. 41. The response shown by the tips of roots and the shoot of plant to the stimulus of gravity is called eutrophism. 41 is option D. 42. In the mammal, the autonomic nervous system consists of 42. You should take this down. Autonomic nervous system consists of sympathetic and parasympathetic systems. Option A. 43. What path does sound entering the human ear follow? 43. It follows the eardrum, the ossicles, and the oval window. Option C. 44. When a short-sighted person, short-sighted, they can see close object, they can't see far object, views a distance object without the spectacles, the image will appear in front of the retina. Option B. 44. In front of the retina. 43. 44 is option B. 45. The part of the brain that controls heartbeat and breathing is the heartbeat and breathing is option D. Don't forget medulla. 46. When a healthy shoot of a flowering plant is illuminated from one side, auxin accumulates on the non-illuminated side of the shoot. Option A. 47. The process of walking is under the control of cerebellum. 47 is option C. How cheap this chapter can be if you've gotten a grasp of it. 48. The diagram represents the sensory neuron. The part labeled X is 49, most likely to be the cell body. The part labeled X is the cell body. 50. Which of the following ions are involved in conduction of nerve impulse? The potassium ion. Right, potassium and sodium ions, K plus and Na plus, are involved in the conduction of nerve impulse. 51. The part of the brain that regulates most biological cycles is the pineal body. Option D. It controls internal biological clock like the cardiac rhythm, etc. And do not forget, the pineal body is located close to pituitary gland. It also helps to work in function of releasing melatonin, which would help, is a hormone that controls sleep and wake cycle, when you sleep and when you wake. And most times when you travel to a country with different time zones, you might get affected a bit, but it will balance up again. So we said 51 is option D. 52. The ability of the eye to focus is called accommodation. Option D. The small masses of the nervous tissue in which many neurons have their nuclei are called. 53 is the ganglia. The ganglion is a collection of neurons, neuron cell body. That's just it. And they call ganglia when you have lots of neurons together. 54. The correct sequence of the operation of smell in the mammal is 54. Dissolved chemical, sensory cells, olfactory nerve, the brain. Option D. 54 is option D. 55. The part of the brain that controls body posture is the cerebellum. Cerebellum. Although they say cerebrum. It's supposed to be one supposed to be cerebellum. So that's a typo error. Some students will be like, sir, when we come across something like this in the exam hall, what should we do? One is cerebrum, one is cerebellum. There would probably be a correction of it to make sure that they don't mark you wrong. What is the cerebrum? Is the cerebellum? That's the answer. But you have cerebrum, which is a typo error. Do not forget the cochlea is for hearing, while the semicircular canals are for balancing. Next, short-sightedness can be corrected with the use of, do not forget, option D, concave. Short-sightedness is corrected with the use of concave lenses, while long-sightedness is corrected with the use of convex lenses. Let's run. 57. The inner ear contains two main organs, namely the inner ear. The inner ear contains the cochlea and the semicircular canal, option B. Option B, see I'm here. 58. The center for learning and memory is cerebrum, option C. 59. The part which functions together to bring about hearing. 59 is I IV. Those are the parts which functions together. I would like to label it. The eye is called the external acoustic meatus. This place, sometimes your fingers can get to this place a bit if you try to pick out some things from like the wax from your ear. External acoustic meatus. Eye is called the ossicles. See them here. They are the smallest bones are located there. They are called the sacculus of the cochlea. Sacculus is spelled Sacculus. Sacculus of the cochlea. IV is called the cochlea. See, I'm here. IV is called the cochlea. So 59 is option C. I and IV. 60. The part labeled is the ear ossicles, option D. 60 is the ear ossicles, option D. While the part labeled V, this V is called the eustachian tube or internal auditory meatus, and the VI is a bone. This is a bone. So moving on. Next, we said the structure can be found in 61. The diagram is not given. That 61 and 62 diagram is not given. We'll move on. 63. The response of plants to external stimulus in non-directional is called nastic movement. 63 is D. 64. Nervous control differs from hormonal control in that the former involves, it produces a short-term response. Nervous control, the response are short-term, while hormonal control, the response are long-term. 65. The two key cations involved in the action potential of nervous transmission is sodium and potassium. Option C is supposed to be, it's not supposed to be nitrogen. There's a mistake there. It's supposed to be sodium and potassium. 66. When bacteria swim from cold to warm region, this is known as positive thermotaxy. From cold to warm region is positive. From warm to cold region is negative. Okay. We've gotten an image of the eye here, of the ear here again. Give us another image of the ear. Let's tackle it. The structure labeled eye is the 67 is the stapes, option D, those bones. 68. The function of the part labeled eye is to equalize pressure on both sides of the tympanum. 68 is option A. 69. One basic similarity between nervous and endocrine system is that they both involve the use of chemical substances. 69 is option C. 70. This experiment demonstrates response to gravity. So it's geotrophism, option A. 71. The part marked I contains high concentration of probably be auxins, option D. It has to do with plants. Don't forget hormone, plant growth hormone. 72. The transmission of impulse along a nerve fiber is characterized by 72 is electrical and ionic charges or changes. Electrical and ionic changes, option B. 73. The eye defect illustrated above is hypermetropia, when the image is formed beyond the eye, the retina. Hypermetropia, long-sightedness. Do not forget what we say you use to correct it. You could check your note. I've given that already. We'll just complete this chapter here on. The function of the correcting lens is 74 is converging incoming rays. Option B. So to correct long-sightedness, you use converging lens to correct you converge incoming rays. But for short-sightedness, you diverge the incoming rays. 75. Which of the following stimulus is likely to elicit a nastic response in an organism? Touch. Nastic response. 75. The question is actually ambiguous. So they say which of the following, as the question is just too broad. You can't say this is the main answer. But they say which of the following stimuli is likely to elicit or to cause a nastic response. The best answer here will be touch. But it could have been any other thing, this question. It's not direct enough. 76. The ability of living organisms to dictate and respond is called stimuli. Irritability. Ability of living organisms to dictate and respond to changes in the environment is referred to as irritability. Option D. The part of the mammalian ear responsible for maintenance of balance is perilimbs. You go with perilimbs, okay? Perilimbs. This is because there's something called the ampullae. The ampullae of the semicircular canal. It's supposed to be semicircular canal, but there's something inside called the ampullae. They contain something called perilimbs. It's like a fluid, you get. So yeah, perilimbs. 78. The movement response of cockroach away from light towards light, positive. Away from light. Let's see. Away from light would be 78, right? When the thing moves away from light, negative phototrophism, option D. If the thing moves towards light, positive. If you moved away from light, negative. People used to confuse this thing. No? If the thing waka go meet light, na positive. If they come out from where light dey, negative. Simple. The autonomic nervous system consists of neurons that controls the 79 the heartbeat. Autonomic as the name goes. 80. The sensory cells that are responsible for dim light is referred to as 80. Cells responsible for dim light is referred to as, right, rod. ROD is a cell responsible for dim light, while cone, CONE, is responsible for colored light. These are photoreceptors located in the eyes. Also, right, the rods are more populous in the eye than the cones. The rods are more populous. The rods are like, you have that dim light, you have like 120 million of them. Then for the cones, you have like 6 millions. You can't compare. I want to give a little note about autonomic nervous system. Let's take down. Autonomic nervous system controls involuntary muscles, e.g., muscles in the heart, the guts, GUT, and blood vessels. While somatic nervous system, SNS, controls voluntary muscles. Voluntary muscles. They are the muscles found skeletal muscles. like that. The tongue is a voluntary muscle. The tongue is a voluntary muscle. The tongue is a voluntary muscle. It's a voluntary muscle. All right. Moving on. The question actually ends 83 here. So we said dim light is the rod, colored light is the cone. Don't forget. So 8 is option B. 81. The eye defect caused by development of cloudy air is cataract. Option B. 81 is option B. 82. Coordination and regulation of the body activity in mama is achieved by. 82 is actually achieved by the neurons and hormones. 82 is option B, or nervous system and endocrine system. 83. The cerebellum of the brain controls. And so we said coordination and number 83. Number 81. The eye defect, we say is cataract. The eye defect caused by the development of cloudy areas is called the cataract, option B. 82. Coordination and regulation of the body activity in mammals are achieved by the nervous and the neurons and the hormones, or nervous system and endocrine system, option B. 83. The cerebrum of the brain controls muscular activities. Don't forget muscular activities. 84. Sorry, the part of the brain responsible for peristalsis is the medulla oblongata. Peristalsis is option B. All right, we've come to the end of this chapter. If you've gotten to this point and you didn't jot down, I would like you to rewind again. Jot down the point I gave. Not too many of them in this clip, but jot down the point, snap and send to us on the WhatsApp group. And if this is your first time of coming across any of our videos, please be notified that we prepare students for entrance exam. If you like to enroll, there will be a link to the class will be left in the description box of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next clip.